listening to the LOZ Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the LOZ Podcast Network. My name's Ken Lawler. Today, we are talking everything food at the lake and specifically breakfast. We have our friends from Rooster Cafe, and we're talking to Angela Town. She is the proprietor, and she's the one that makes all those delicious meals we get every morning for breakfast. Hello, Angela.
Hi.
Welcome to the LOZ Podcast Network.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Well, you know, Angela is a client of the app, and she's also a friend. We see each other. I think we see each other more at other restaurants than we do at your restaurant. We're on the same circuit, but look, you guys have just taken the lake by storm. I mean, there's a lot of breakfast choices at the lake, no doubt about it. But I think if you ever drove by your place right there on Bagnell Dam and you see the amount of cars that are always parked every which way they can, you guys are doing quite a bit of business out of that location, aren't you?
We really are. We're super blessed. I mean, obviously going into this, we thought, well, we don't know what's going to happen. We had some numbers from the previous owner, but we saw well over 83,000 people last year, and we just feel really blessed that we were able to do that, you know.
That's an amazing number. I mean, your restaurant is decent size, but 83,000 people through that restaurant, that's a lot.
Yeah, our capacity is right at 90. So, you know, breakfast is so different than fine dining. We have to turn and burn. We've got to get them in and out and happy. And it's their first meal of the day. So they usually are going to do something else. So we don't want to hold them up. They're going to go get on their boat or, you know, and our ticket price is really low. So we've got to turn a lot of tables to keep the doors open.
Well, and what's interesting too is you know, I'm sure you get your share of 2 tops and 3 tops and 4 tops, but you get a lot of 12 tops, 15 tops. I mean, that's not only is that hard to just figure out, you know, in the building itself, but to try to get all those meals out in the same time it's got to be crazy.
It is. Yeah. We've learned over the years for sure. And, you know, a lot of places won't take big tables like that, but it's really difficult for me to turn them down. It's either a big family celebrating something, it's a bachelorette party. It's always a celebration for somebody. And I just always try to think, man, having a meal together is just so important. So, you know, we'll turn the tables, we'll do what we can, we'll get you in there. And it does take away from some of the smaller tables sometimes, but I'm pretty good at it now. It's been about 3.5 years. I call myself the hostess with the mostest. You know, I can kind of maneuver. It's like, I say it's the biggest chess game you've ever played, you know, like them go here, they go here, serve them first, you know, and I'm always on my servers like, hey, I'm getting ready to seat this 15 top, get all the 2 tops and 4 tops in, get their orders on the board first. And because once this goes in, and then we never put it in on 1 ticket, we put it on like 3 tickets. So the screen is in such a way that all the cooks can read it clearly and not get lost and not get overwhelmed.
Right. Well, you know, and you mentioned 3.5 years. So tell us how you got in the business. Like, where did this, have you always been in the restaurant business? Is this something you guys just started?
Not at all. I mean, you know, I always say I've had like 5 lives. I was a very young Army wife for about 10 years. And then I went into the medical field. I've worked for construction companies. I've done all kinds of things, but 18 years I spent with ocular surgery and clinical research. So I was in clinic assisting an ocular surgeon and going to surgery with him, running his lasers in surgery, and then going to clinic with him, and then eventually clinical research for some of the development of the drugs and devices that help people see and help with glaucoma, macular degeneration, and things like that. And I mean, I really just was so blessed to have so many great mentors along the way. You know, I started out this little bitty girl who had no confidence that just needed a job. And a lot of those people took me by the hand and just lifted me up and taught me so many things. A lot of the surgeons I worked for had private clinics. So I really learned from them as far as how to treat people, true customer service, and efficiency and attention to detail. I mean, that is I tell people, you know, I run the restaurant like we ran our medical clinics. It's the same thing. It's a service you're providing and just trying to make sure you're crossing the T's, dotting the I's. And a lot of it crosses over cleanliness, you know, foodborne illness, sanitization, you know, attention to detail. And it's really customer service for me.
And I can tell when I'm there and I'm watching you, you're never idle. You're either, you know, working the menu, or you're working with your staff, or you're folding spoons and forks in the napkins. Yeah. There's never an idle moment for you, and it's just like on, go. And but you know, it makes a difference. It's such a good place to to take your family or to take a friend or just to go hang out in the morning. And the food is amazing. I mean, we've got some pictures of food that you guys sent to us, and it's just absolutely one of the best places to eat at the lake. What oh, look at this. I mean, this thing, explain to me what's going on here with this cinnamon roll. Cause I mean, it's as big as my head.
Yeah. Well, when we bought the restaurant, there was a great menu that was put together. That's why I purchased the restaurant. The two chefs that put the menu together owned the restaurant before, did a great job of putting things on there that were very unique. One thing I didn't know when I moved here was that there was another restaurant who sold giant cinnamon rolls, because I'm not from here. I'm from Kansas City.
Right.
So I didn't know that. I just was like, okay, this is another thing we need to learn how to make. All right, we make it. And I just promoted it like crazy because I thought it was so cool. My husband grew up on a farm part-time with his grandmother, and he would make cinnamon rolls with her growing up, and he loved his grandma. So that made sense to us. We were like, oh, this is great. And he's an electrician by trade, but all of a sudden he was making cinnamon rolls. And so we got a little bit of flack because we were like, oh, we have the biggest cinnamon roll at the lake. And then somebody was like, you're not the only ones. And I'm like, oh, really? I mean, we didn't do it on purpose. We certainly never want to take away from anyone's business because there's plenty of business to go around. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
And that's the truth too. I mean, it's funny, the other thing at the lake I think is funny is everybody does a huge pork tenderloin, right? Everybody's got a big as your plate pork tenderloin, but you can find it at 10 different places. But everybody wants to have the biggest pork tenderloin at the lake too. But it is kind of crazy. But that thing looks delicious. You have something for everybody. I mean, the food is amazing, and I know that. You can go a lot of places and get a good breakfast, but you guys always have just a little something extra. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I get your eggs Benedict almost every time I go. I'd like to try something else, but it's just so good I can't stop myself. And you guys put there's like a little pepper. I don't know what's going on, but it's like just subtle differences that you guys do to make the menu just incredible.
yeah, well, I'll take that as a compliment. I'll tell you the best compliment we ever got was when Jeff Super came in to eat one day, and he said, hey, I really like that hollandaise sauce. And then, he's like, did you put a little bit of this and a little bit of that? And we were like, yeah. And he said, good job. And so, hey, if Jeff says it's good, I always tell him, Jeff, I believe you. You're the expert. So
yeah, Chef Jeff over at Jeffrey's Prime Rib and Lobster. He's a great guy, and you and I have seen each other there as well. But no, the food is just amazing. I mean, it's obvious that you guys really care and that you really want to put out a quality product. That's special. And I know too that you want to make the experience as good as you can. I know that when in the LOZ app, we actually have in the app in your listing, you can go there and actually put yourself on a wait list so that you don't have to stand outside for an hour, because let's face it, during the season on a weekend, you're going to have an hour and a half waited sometimes. But the nice thing is you let people kind of put themselves in and put them on a list so they can maybe get a couple errands done or go do their thing and still not have, still have time to grab breakfast.
yeah, that really helped us a lot. When I took over, they were just writing people's names on a piece of paper, and man, you can lose that piece of paper. It gets so confusing and frustrating. So I immediately was like, we have to have an app, and it's worked out really well. People can get online at home, put themselves in. They know how long it takes to drive there, and we wait on them if they're waiting a little too long. But it works really, really well.
We pair ours with the Menards trip. So we will come, I'll put her name in, we'll head to Menards, which is just down the road from you. And then by the time we're done getting whatever we have to get there, we pop back by, and usually we're right in the door. So.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. I know. I just say, I do have people that say, all right, well, they'll put their name in when they come in. They'll say, well, we're going to go down to the strip and have a drink and we'll come back. And I'm like, all right.
Okay. Let's talk about your staff and some of the things you guys are involved in there. I know that there's, the staff is a huge part of what you guys do. And I know you have family members and everybody's working for you. And tell us a little bit how you put that team together and what you're doing there.
Yeah, the team changes. Sometimes people go on to different careers or do different things. So we've been blessed to have a couple of different solid teams. This is the newest team, and we've got two of the original members from when we took over, Julie and Emily. They are going on their fourth year with us this year. Some of the others that are been there with us for a little while is Haley Shear, and she works at Frankie Louis also. Her whole family has worked all around the lake and served the lake, her sisters and her mother. And then we have, Susie Duncan. She's an amazing asset to us. She's like a black belt in karate. I mean, she used to own her own fitness studio. I mean, we have so many people on our team that has great stories. And to me, life is about the story, like, and learning from each other. And they all just kind of bring something to the table. As a matter of fact, Molly, she raises chickens. And so she's so devastated by all these chickens that were slaughtered. I mean, she really loves her chickens. She talks to them. She feeds them a certain kind of diet. And so she's really educated me on chickens and how to raise chickens and ducks. And it's been interesting.
It is. And there's a lot of people at the lake who raise chickens. I was amazed. I mean, I'll run into people all the time that are saying, yeah, I've got, 5, 6, 7, 8 chickens that I have. And you think, why would you go through all that work to do that? But it's a love. I mean, they love it.
They love it. And it is a lot of work. And, Molly, she'll say, it's not as cheap as people think, because she buys a certain coop and a certain kind of food and a certain kind of nutrients for them. But she said, Angela, during the World War II, she said, they told you if you had one chicken, you wouldn't starve, or the Great Depression or something like that. And I said, really? She said, yeah, because you can have an egg a day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but no, I love them. I have great staff. They're very hard workers. They are dedicated to each other. I always say we don't have drama there, and that's true. Probably because we don't have time for drama. We're always running, doing something, but because it's so fast. But they all bring a little bit something different to the table, and we really have each other's back. We really try to make sure everybody succeeds. That's my goal. Make sure everybody succeeds.
Yeah, no, and that's pretty cool. And you guys obviously win all kinds of awards down there for the food and the best ofs and all that. And I know this picture here we're talking about. You got a winner's award. Looks like that's for the lake. What this is for the. Go ahead and talk about this a little bit.
Reader's Choice Award. Yeah, that was the first year we won that one. So sometimes there's so many, I don't know the competitions that go on sometimes, and I get a lot of emails, so they'll email me, but I don't always see it. And
right. So, when you're the food's a big part of what you do, but obviously you have a full bar, right? I mean, that's something that you pride yourselves in having you can have a really nice Bloody Mary. Look at that. That looks delicious. And you guys, you can come there and have a nice drink and wait for your spot to open up. And it's a good place to start for the weekend. Let's face it, it's the lake. People are there to have fun. It's for vacation. They want to enjoy themselves. And you know what? They want to have a couple of drinks with breakfast. So
yeah. And I have people coming in that worked all night for Amarin or the different companies, and they're just getting off of work. So,
for them, it's second shift, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Mimosas are a big deal. We have a lot of bachelorette parties. So we have a big mimosa tower that has 2 bottles of champagne in it. They love that.
Yeah. And let's talk about this. Now, this is something very interesting. I know that when you and I were talking before the podcast, you have an opportunity here with the kombucha. Is it the tea kombucha? Tell me what this is exactly.
Yeah. So I started drinking kombucha years and years and years ago for gut health. And because I don't really drink soda, and so it was just a fun drink for me because it's fizzy. This company specifically is a friend of mine owns this company. She has over 700 locations where she has her kombucha in. She's on tap at KC Sporting at KC Chiefs Stadium. So she started out in her garage. I love her story. And she started taking it to the farmer's market. And then she said, okay, I got to make this bigger. My line is forever at the farmer's market and people want it more often. So she got a facility. She bought big kegerators and conicals, and she decided to put CO2 with it and put it on tap. And she was one of the first people to put it on tap. She actually has the world's largest kombucha tap room in Olathe, Kansas. And she has over, I think, 48 flavors. So, I mean, wow. I have 8 of them. There's 40 more flavors. But she takes a lot of pride in what she does. She triple filters the water before she even makes this. So she's going to take all the pharmaceuticals out, all the heavy metals, all the hormones that might be in your water. She's going to do reverse osmosis. And then she's going to do the kombucha. And these are from live cultures. A lot of the kombucha that you buy at the grocery stores is from a powder that they just put in water. And that kind of upsets your stomachs. If you've ever had a different kind of kombucha from the grocery store, and you go, ooh, my stomach kind of hurts, there's probably a reason. It's just not as smooth. It's a little bit hard on your stomach. And ours is very smooth. I mean, the first week we sold 6 kegs full of it. So people were very excited about it. She used to have it on tap in Hy-Vee. And then when COVID happened, they took it off tap and took it out of there. So she knew that she had a following down here. And, people come down and they want something different. They're from the cities and they're used to having this. And they kind of want to see something that they're used to when they come down and not be, come out isolated. So I'm always looking for a different kind of drink. Like if you don't want to have a mimosa, you don't want to have a Bloody Mary, you don't want a martini, how about a kombucha? I've always got some kind of alternative for people.
And are
Besides
they
soda.
all with alcohol? Is alcohol in all of them, or are some of them non-alcoholic? Or
No, these are no alcohol. They're just a probiotic fizzy drink. They
okay,
have traces because they have been fermented. So it's a very trace amount, but you can use them as a mixer. So any one of them could be mixed with vodka or any alcohol, which would be a healthier cocktail for you because way less sugar plus the
sure.
probiotics, way less of a hangover too. I will say that whenever you use this as a mixer.
Well, you said something there too, because I'm a big soda drinker, and I'm always looking for alternatives to soda.
Mhm.
But I have to have the fizz. I have to
Yeah.
have that fizz. I can't drink just plain water, or just
Right.
a drink without a fizz. To me is just not. It's not a drink. So I'm gonna try that. That's interesting. That looks really cool.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun having people come in. They fill up a whole growler and take it with them, and or a flip top bottle. When they bring the bottles back, they get a $2 deposit back. So the next refill is $2 off.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
we clean the bottle, they get a fresh one, and they get $2 off of their next growler. It's 64 ounces, so it lasts them quite a while. It lasts for a year. The shelf life in a refrigerator is a year or so.
That's awesome. And you said this Saturday you're doing a tasting. Was that what's going on?
Yeah, the founder, Lisa, has said she wanted to come down and be a face and talk to people and answer any questions they might have and stand at the bar and just give them samples. We'll let anybody sample all the flavors if they want, to try it and talk about it. She's going to come down and help us with that. So we're excited.
That's very cool. Yeah, it's funny because you guys are just, it's a breakfast place for sure, but you're more than that. Like when I come in there, there's always things going on. Like I'll see a jar at the front to help out so and so, or you guys give back so much. Like it's just a really cool place to show up to because you never know what's going on, and you guys always have some kind of a passion that you're working for. And I know that's part of your personality. You love to help people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really believe that you get what you give. So, otherwise, what are you doing? Just kind of floating through life. So, I mean, I'm trying to take my servers and my employees and build them up and tell them, what's your goal? What's your dream? You don't have to do this forever. What do you want to do next? Or, let me help you be the best server you can be, whatever it is. And then we have been so blessed by the community. We've been welcomed with open arms. We were really kind of concerned. We're from the city. We're not from here. And we're outsiders, but that just didn't happen at all. We just immediately were embraced. We tried to make connections with people immediately to let them know, hey, we're in this with you, and promote their businesses as well, because it's all about just trying to live this great life and have this little business. And, we had a lady over in Camden we bought pie shells from forever. She was an award-winning pie shell lady named Michelle. We bought those from her for a long time and talked about that on our Facebook. Sweet Southern Treats, when she started out making cupcakes, we would bring her cupcakes in and sell them and be like, hey, you got to order from her. And same with Wicked Sugar, same with Ozark Cookie Company. And man, they're great people. They've just been really awesome to us. Table 33, we love him. He comes in and eats every once in a while. And I'm like, make sure his plate's perfect. He's we love the relationship. Because,
He's got the best hero at the lake. His hero is unbelievable.
He really does. I love his poke bowl. I love the poke bowl. So
well,
we really just want to. Go ahead.
Let's talk about what's on everybody's mind right now with everything going on. The egg in the room. Let's talk about what's going on with eggs. And sometimes at my house it affects us because we buy a dozen a week. I got to pay an extra $1 or $2, and I still think about like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to pay another $1 or $2 for this dozen eggs this week. How many dozen eggs do you think you buy a week?
Well, right now we're doing about 3,000 eggs a week.
3,000.
Yeah. I mean, it's upwards of, it's 12 to 18 cases is what we buy. And in June and July, it's usually 20 cases. There's 180 eggs in a case. So, yeah.
So this is definitely affecting your business. I mean, this is dramatic.
It's not, you go through these things with different price increases. A couple years ago, it was bacon. Bacon was $2 and $3 a pound more. So we went through that. And, flour has increased 38% in the last couple of years. So, you see that and you wait for things to go down and you kind of rob from Peter to pay Paul. You go, well, but I have this great profit margin on this plate. So it kind of makes up for this. So And that's fine. It's kind of a wash, but it doesn't really allow you to get ahead or do the things that you want to do sometimes. And this is a pretty big hit. I mean, there is staff that I need to get ready for this summer to be efficient, to keep the tables turning, to make sure we're, you know, satisfying people's needs, getting them in and out, making sure the food is perfect. And you're not really able to hire some of that staff if you got to pay an extra $900 a week in eggs. I mean, that is several staff members' salaries that I could bring on and have them working.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. $1,000 a week more for the same product. I mean, this is nothing new, nothing different, nothing better. You're just having to pay $1,000 more for that product each week. Now, you guys did something that I thought was so cool, and it just was so progressive thinking. You know, a lot of places out there you see a menu with a piece of tape over a price, and they're upping their price and upping their price, and they're adding on a surcharge for eggs. And you guys kind of went to the community and said, you know what? Everybody knows this is going on. We obviously know what's going on. Here's what we're asking you to do. If you can, why don't you round up your bill at the end of the day, and that extra from everybody's bill will hopefully probably not offset it, but it'll help the pain a little bit. Yeah. And I just thought that was such a creative way to do it. And with the community at the lake, I'm sure you're gonna get people to say, put $5 on, you know, like you'll get people that'll do more than what you're asking. And it just was such a creative way for the community to help participate. And I just think people, you know, when you put it that way, they want to help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't want to force it on them. We wanted them to have the choice because we've really tried to keep our prices as low as we can. You know, we want this to be a good experience. They're going to go do other things at the lake that week, probably, or that weekend. That's going to cost them a little bit of money. So, you know, we want them to come in, have a good meal, and not break the bank. And when we bought the place in 2021, we were paying 7 cents per egg. And as of today, I just asked my husband, he had to order, I think, 13 or 14 cases, and we're paying 56 cents an egg now. So,
oh my God, in 3 years?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's progressively gone up, and, you know, we've gone from $14 a case to 24 to 36. It always goes up around Thanksgiving because of the demand for eggs, for the baking, for the seasons. So we always know it goes up to around $50 a case. But this time we came back from the holidays and they said, okay, well, they're going to $100 a case. So we didn't expect that. They usually go back down in January.
Yeah, but 7 cents to over 50 cents. I mean, in 3 years, that's unheard of. I mean, and again, I think it's probably your number one ingredient, right? I mean, if you think about milk, eggs, I mean, that's
our pancake batter, because we make all of our pancake batter every day, our waffle batter, the dredge that you put the French toast in. We cut and cube all of our chicken fried steaks. So we hand batter those the minute you order those. So we have to have a wash, an egg wash for that. There's eggs goes in a lot of other things that people don't think of. Our crab cakes that we make in-house, we have to use egg for that. So, you know, we found some ways around it a little bit to save a little money. You know, I'll be like, hey, let's use this egg replacer from Bob's Mill for the waffle batter for a while. Let's see if we can get away with that. And that saves us 30 eggs, you know, or 60 eggs, how many we're doing that week. But, you know, and sometimes, I mean, honestly, somebody told me the other day, said, man, the pancakes just taste so much better. I don't know what's going on. Well, it's because we're using an egg replacer, because we're not putting 60 eggs in a 5-gallon bucket that we're making pancake batter in, because, you know, that's what we had to do to save on eggs. But, you know, people, I was just talking with some people about the egg thing in the last few days, like last weekend and Monday, and they just didn't even, I went to dinner with some friends Monday night, and they just didn't really understand how it was affecting the breakfast restaurants. And they were like, so what do you think is going to happen? And I said, I think what's going to happen is it's going to be very hard on a lot of small little cafes, because you're already operating with these very thin margins, and you're trying to pay your employees a decent wage so that they're happy and they have a good life. And if you can't pay them and pay the egg prices, you know, it's tough. It is tough.
Yeah, something's got to give. And
something's got to give.
You know, I thought the way you guys did that was just so amazing. And I think that the lake community is going to embrace it. And hopefully you're getting a really good response to that. I mean, everyone who's in the LOZ app, all 30,000 of our users who get a chance to view our podcast network, I would say you have to go by. If you haven't, and most of you probably have been to Rusty Rooster Cafe, but go by and check them out. They are amazing. The service is amazing. The food's amazing, but the experience is awesome. And I know you guys are open. Give it the hours you're open off season and on season for everybody.
Well, we've never closed during the down season, extra days or shorter hours. We're always open from Thursday to Monday. So our weekend or our days off is Tuesday and Wednesday. And we do that because Mondays, historically, people would come into the lake on Thursday night. They would stay over and leave Monday morning because they would have a long weekend at the lake. And that does seem to still happen. What's more true is that there's no school on Mondays for some of the school districts. So we do get some families coming in or moms coming in with their kids. There's a lot of holidays on Mondays too. So, we try to stay open. That's extra revenue for the business, and it's extra gratuity and tips. It keeps some of the servers working, keeps the cooks working. It's hard not to, they don't want to stay if you're only going to give them 3 days a week. So we try to stay open 5 days a week and be consistent with the community. So.
And they still get a couple days off during the week that they can enjoy with their families. And luckily at the lake, at least during the season, there's lots to do. And on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I know I see you guys out. You enjoy your days off, and I think that's awesome. Like, you guys really embrace the whole culture down there at the lake. And, you guys aren't just clients of the app. You become friends. I love you guys. It's just so fun to see you guys out and enjoying yourself. And I'm a huge cheerleader for you. And I think, I'm so glad to finally get you guys on the podcast network. And, we'll catch up with you maybe towards the end of the season too, and kind of get a recap of how everything went. But I would just encourage everyone to go try Rusty Rooster, get over there, tell your friends about it. Make sure you leave yourself a little time because it's very popular, but you'll be very happy and full because the portions are huge. So they'll be very happy and full when they get done. And it's just a great, great addition to the lake. And we're so happy to have you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. We're happy to be here. We've been really blessed. We've made great friends. It's been fun.
Awesome. Well, everybody, this is another episode of LOZ Podcast Network, and we will be back next week with another one. We hope you enjoyed this and get a chance to get some eggs, get some bacon, get some waffles, and then get a kombucha. Let's get a new kombucha.
That's right.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.